Welcome to another episode of No Talking During the Movies. I am your host, Stephen Austin.
And I am your co-host, Tank.
With a question mark?
With a question mark, yeah.
Tank?
Tank?
Tank is Scorpion, and I am Sub-Zero. Tank's the best part of the movie, and I'm just the annoying guy who keeps showing up.
Hey, get over here. Yeah.
Hey, get over here.
Get over here, you.
We will be talking about Mortal Kombat later into the episode, but first let's get to some of these trailers. Tank, this is going to be a real rage episode for you, I think.
Oh, God, I'm ready to be angry.
So I was going to say, do you want to end on the anger for trailers, or do you want to start with the anger for trailers?
I say let's do a slow burn, get angry in the beginning, and keep it rolling all the way
right.
through. By the way, I just want to say I watched the episodes with you and what was your code?
Marianne.
You guys were great. Just FYI. So
she really loved being on, and we were talking more about her doing some more bonus episodes just related to some more movies I'm throwing her way and movies she's recommending me. So we're considering doing that kind of stuff. But thank you. She really loved being on, and it seemed like our TikTok crowd really liked it too. So
cool.
All right. So slow burn. You said, do you want to start with Fear Street?
Yeah, because I'm just, they say the opposite of love is indifference, and I am completely indifferent to this.
Really? Because I think I'm more interested for it because it's the idea of, like, we're going to get a full trilogy of movies in, like, 3 weeks. And that's interesting to me.
Horror is just not my genre, man.
That is true.
I can't usually get with it, and I dig that it's R.L. Stein,
Yeah, Goosebumps.
That's cool stuff, and good on them and everything. It's not really for me, and I can accept that with music and movies and stuff. Some stuff's just not made for me, and that's fine. So I think it looks like it would be pretty scary. I mean, it has a nice,
The whole idea of them doing like 3 different eras for each movie, and it's like still an overarching plot, yet the third movie, like, we're going back in time, like, that's pretty cool to me. Like, I'm very interested to see how the plot's gonna, like, revolve around these characters in 3 movies that are technically further back in time. Like, this will be probably cool, probably really cool. But yeah, I guess we'll see when it comes out. I think July 2nd was the first one, which is going to be taking place in 1994. Is that what it is?
The 90s were already pretty scary.
That is true. We had a lot of skateboarders.
There were skateboarders everywhere. They were running everything. The skateboard gangs were running through the streets like warlords. It was crazy.
Warlords.
And Tony Hawk was president. It was unbelievable.
Jonah Hill was filming everything with a camera. Well, I guess if I'm guessing this correctly, slow burn means the next in the order would be this Friends reunion trailer.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm shocked that, like, so first and foremost, I had to ask you beforehand. I was like, are you even a Friends fan? Is this something that
I was a massive Friends fan.
Okay.
Like every Thursday, didn't miss it. You know what I mean? Loved it. Followed the story.
I assume your favorite character was Chandler.
Without question.
I mean, come on.
How could it not be? I thought Friends is the archetype of ruining a character because of what they did to Ross. I don't know if you started watching it, correct?
I started watching it. I'm in season 8, so I've watched most of the show. And do you just mean ruining Ross as in, like, he just gets worse and worse as a human being?
Worse and worse. Right, no, absolutely, because he started off as like this guy who was just a normal guy, really smart, kind of nerdy, and every once in a while I'd have a problem, but then they turn him into this whiny, like, they completely ruined, like, they just over exaggerated the character. You know what I mean? Like, they made Joey dumber.
Oh my God, yeah. Joey has gotten progressively stupider, like, to the point where there was it was the episode where Chandler decides to move in with Monica. Mm-hmm. And I swear to God, I was like, oh my God, how is Joey gonna survive without a human being living with him?
Honestly, how does this guy get more successful and stupider at the same time?
That's the other thing. Sense. He's like doing a movie in one of these last episodes. Gary Oldman was guest starring, which was so cool.
I believe that's towards the wedding episode.
It was during the wedding episode because he's gotta officiate the wedding, but he's also like dealing with this movie set thing, and it's like, oh, don't worry, we just need this one scene, and Gary Oldman shows up on set like completely hammered.
Yeah.
But like Joey, like you said, he just gets more progressively like successful. Like he goes back to Days of Our Lives and blah blah blah, and I'm just sitting there like, how does he function? You know, like also.
Yeah.
I love Susan Sarandon, and she had that episode with Joey, and I was just like, oh, why does it have to be Susan Sarandon? I was like, no.
But honestly, in the 90s, everybody showed up on that show.
Oh my God. When Bruce Willis showed up, I was screaming. And then especially all of his, you know, one talking to himself in the mirror. I'm a neat guy. So good.
Paul Rudd, Michael Rappaport. Right. I mean, like everybody showed up on this show, and it was, dude, in the 90s, it was the show for me.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, as you've grown up, you could see the holes in it and things like that. And I never was a fan of, you know, like when a show saw something that maybe people thought was kind of funny, and then they started overdoing it, like Chandler, or I'm sorry, like Ross is whining, like Joey's dumbness. Yeah, like it's okay to be dumb sometimes, but I mean this guy is just absolutely, it's like he has, you know, degenerative brain damage of some kind.
There's a word for that in animation, and you'll never guess what it is.
Umagi.
Unagi. No. I believe that's a salmon roll. No. The term in animation is Flanderization, and it's supposed to be off of Flanders from The Simpsons.
Okay.
Because
perfect. Absolutely.
He was just a good neighbor, and the Christian part of him was just supposed to be like, oh, he's a good neighbor, he's got good moral values, he's, you know, cookouts, barbecues in the backyard, you know, that kind of thing. And then it gets to the point where like him being Christian is his only characterization, and he's like taking it to, you know, vast extremes that like don't reference the character that he used to be.
Absolutely.
Joey, you know, Ross, all of these characters become archetypes of themselves, of their worst traits.
And like Monica is she was kind of a clean person, then all of a sudden that's like her whole personality. Right. And, you know, and it's fine. I thought they stayed pretty loyal to Chandler. And like, you know, that was my favorite character. It was definitely the guy I identified with most. For certain.
It was so funny watching that wedding episode and him being like I know I'm waiting for me to like be a Chandler and freak out, but I'm not, because his whole thing was he was afraid of commitment. And the moment that it was like a voice message and it was like, by next Saturday will be the Bings, and you just see him go like it just comes back. Yeah, like so obviously we're bringing this up because of the reunion trailer, and I watched it, and I'm trying to like, we've got 5 days before the reunion actually airs on HBO Max. I am rushing through Friends to try to watch it. I'm not going to be able to watch it, you know, like when it first comes out or whatever. But
skip it.
You're going to skip it.
I'm going to skip it.
Is it because James Corden's attached to it? Because I was really upset about that.
That doesn't bother me. It's because I don't give a shit what Jennifer Aniston is up to. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit what I don't care what Ross, the guy, thinks about the show. I wanted to watch what the characters are up to.
You wanted a movie of them coming back. I agree. That's what I wanted.
I mean, that's all I care about. Look, so I did this Fresh Prince one.
Well, yeah, Fresh Prince was kind of the same deal, wasn't it?
It was exactly the same deal, and I watched it because James Avery passed away.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I kind of wanted to watch, and it delivered on the emotion that I was looking for on that.
Right.
But at the same time, I would have preferred that they'd done a movie dealing with Uncle Phil dying.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Would have been really cool.
I don't understand why you're going to take the time. I mean, I guess I understand because it's less time to get people to do an interview show than to do an actual, you know, like a 5-episode film. A film or a 5-episode arc. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to bother with this. You know what I mean? Like, again, the only reason I watched that, the Fresh Prince one, was because of the James Avery thing.
Sure.
So I'm not going to bother with this. Also, Chandler looks terrible.
You think Chandler looks terrible?
I mean, he looks like
Matthew Perry.
Yeah, he's going through it, man, and he's had problems
I was gonna
with
say
addiction and things in the
there
past.
in the arc in the season. I think it ends with him like proposing, and then the next episode is the start of the next season, and it was supposed to be like the same day after he like when he proposed. And because they had filmed it so much later, he had all of this like drug problems in between filming those two. And he had
Mhm.
lost so much weight that when
Yeah,
I watched it, it literally was like, who is that? Like, it doesn't look
yeah,
like him.
right.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, I guess he just, yeah. It's funny too, because I think most of the characters or most of the actors and actresses look relatively fine. I mean,
Well, I mean, Jennifer Aniston is still just
yeah,
an absolute dime.
yeah,
I mean, just like unbelievable how she's aged, and everybody else has gotten older, and that's but like he looks like sickly, like
yeah.
in some of the promos and stuff like that. He looks really bad, and that's sad because
It's all
he's
in the
done a
eyes.
couple. It really is like his face is just sunken in, and
Hmm.
he's like slurring his words and stuff like that. He's actually done a couple of shows since Friends that I really enjoyed.
Mm.
There was a show called Go On. I absolutely
I think
loved
we
it.
were talking about Go On.
We did
We
talk about
did
Go On.
before.
And it only made it a season. And then there was Mr.
Mm.
Sunshine. Basically the same thing, where he's like kind of a dick, but he's also got like a heart of gold.
Mm.
Um, and the show Go On, he had lost his wife,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, and he was in a support group and had all these really rich characters in the support group. And it was a really good show. I don't know why it didn't take off, but it never did. Such is life. But
And it's funny too. I actually recognized Matthew Perry, and I remember freaking out about this. My favorite video game is Fallout 3, and the sequel to that is Fallout New Vegas, and he voices one of the antagonists in that game. Matthew
could
Perry does.
I be any more antagonistic?
Well, so like I thought it was so cool. I was like, oh man, that guy from Friends, that show I haven't watched, but it's a huge show. He's in this video game, and I thought that was really cool.
Dude, one of the best is when Joey comes in with all of Chandler's clothes on.
Which in the trailer you could see that they're like they reference that. Like
Yeah,
Matt LeBlanc walks in. Matt LeBlanc? Is that his name?
Matt LeBlanc. That's his
Okay,
name.
cool. He walks in and he's wearing all of the clothes on top of himself. So I'm like, the reunion's gonna be fun. I don't care about James Corden and BTS being there personally.
Why do you hate James Corden so much?
I hate James Corden. He's like,
Yeah,
I've heard
what's up with that?
horrible like stories about how he's just
Really?
like a jerk. Yeah, like
Really?
he got big and he was so much better than everybody else kind of mentality. Like apparently
Wow.
like he's yelled at his audiences for his late night show in between commercial breaks that they're not laughing enough. Like he's an insane person.
Oh my goodness.
So the fact that he's doing this, I'm just like, God, James Corden's a part of this.
See, I would have rather have seen somebody like I would
It-
watch it if it was a roast. If it was a roast, oh, I would
Well,
watch
hold
it.
on. Now I'm curious. If they did another like late night guest or like show host to do the reunion, who would you have wanted to be like the MC of that? Because personally, I would have wanted somebody who was big of that era. So like a Jay Leno or a Conan O'Brien or Letterman. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that have been cool?
I mean, any of those would have been better, honestly.
I agree. Like I can't like maybe Jimmy Fallon would be a good like modern day one to do it, but
I don't tell anybody this, but I kind of hate Jimmy Fallon.
I think a lot of people do.
It's just he's so just shut up, man.
Is that an Adam Sandler impression?
No, I agree. I don't know. Something about him. I just don't dig it. But
That's fine.
I don't know. Craig Ferguson would be fun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you know who would be the tits would be Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais would be good.
Ricky Gervais, and just let him make fun of them.
Sure.
But you know what? The thing is, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Most of them have gone off to mediocrity.
Yeah.
Except for Jennifer Aniston.
Let's be real. All of that cast, except for Jennifer Aniston's biggest thing. Well, even Jennifer Aniston, all of their biggest thing was Friends. Like, let's be real.
She's gone on to have a pretty big movie career.
No, sure, I know, but name a movie that's more popular than Friends.
Well, Friends is the I Love Lucy of my generation.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like they're
Right.
gonna be known as
Yeah.
the cast of Friends. You know what I mean?
For sure. And, but you know, if you're just dealing with everybody sans Jennifer Aniston, you're going to be able to have more fun with it. But there's no way she's going to allow them to, you know, do anything that's going to make her look silly. You know what I mean? Like even
Right.
for the sake of fun. So I mean, there was just no way this was going to be anything but a fluff fest. And it's just, you know, I recognize the fact that you know, I saw in the trailer that they're doing like the trivia game that they did to see who would get the apartment back.
Super fun, yeah. And
Yeah,
they're like
but
doing the trivia game of like the show.
and I'm just not interested. Just
Really? That wasn't funny? Was them doing like, how many pages was it? And then Matt LeBlanc's like, 18 pages. 18
front and back.
Front and back. 18 pages, front and back.
See, but I don't care about that because I know the answer to all those questions. And I would rather find out what the twins are up to from the, you know, I mean, stuff you don't know about.
Well, I was gonna say like it would be cool to see like the triplets, get Cole Sprouse back.
Yeah.
Triplets, yeah. Get Cole Sprouse back to play Ben.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Why wouldn't Cole Sprouse come back for that? Like, come on, let's be real. When they switched the little boy out for Cole Sprouse and suddenly Ben was being played by him, I was like, Ben's funny now. Like they did that whole like prank episode with Rachel like teaching him how to like prank things, and it's like Ross comes in and he's complaining about like some saran wrap over a toilet seat and he doesn't realize he's got like a pencil line all over his face. Like it's so good, and I'm just like, oh man, it would be cool if they like, you know, like you said, and what I wanted to, and I think what a lot of people wanted was just like,
I think that's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would care because we've been watching this for the last 20 years.
Right.
These guys talk about not all together, but who gives a shit if they're all in the same room saying the same thing?
Like apparently part of the reunion, they're gonna do like a reading of the episode where they find out about like Chandler and Monica, and like that's gonna be fun, but it's still like it's not what I want.
It's not new content.
No, like I would legitimately love for them to just write, even if it was just an episode. You know what I mean? Like I would love a, like how you said, like a 5-episode arc or a movie, but
I mean, just catch us up. You know what I mean? Like,
we're invested in the characters and we want to see what they're up to in 2021.
I mean, you guys weren't method acting when you played these characters, so like, how hard can it be to get back into it?
That's also very true. Yeah.
I mean, like seriously, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because it's very clearly just a money grab. You know what I mean? It's very clearly just, and it's almost a misdirection because calling it Friends Reunion, it almost makes you feel like you're, you know, like they're not being disingenuous in the way they promote it. But if you call it a Friends Reunion, you almost feel like, oh, we're gonna see what happens to the people in Friends.
Sure.
You know, you call it like a Friends Roundtable or a Friends Waste of Time or something like that.
I get it. I totally get it. And honestly, when I saw the trailer and started seeing like, you know, the set and everything, I got really excited.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, they're just gonna be sitting in the set.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's like that episode of a Family Guy. Simpsons did it. You know, it's like Fresh Prince did it. You know what I mean? Like, we've already seen this. Wow me. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the other thing. It's like you mentioned, like it's gonna be a fluff thing and just good vibes all around, and like that's fine. Like I'll feel good about watching them like reminisce and everything. Personally, I will, but I again, like I think most people are gonna think like this is not what I wanted at the end of the day.
No.
So, yeah, it's a bit upsetting. I'm excited to watch it, but not obviously as much as I would be if it was a movie or a like you said, 5-episode arc. That just sounds so good. If they did like Friends season 11 and it was literally just a couple of episodes.
I mean, even like when Gilmore Girls did it, I didn't watch it. My wife's big, like huge into Gilmore Girls. It was like her show, and they did a thing, and it wasn't. She says it was really bad, and what I know about it, the story sucked too. But at least you get to catch up. You know what I mean? At least you know, and Megan McCarthy.
Like
Melissa McCarthy was in it, and she's, you know, I would say arguably as big a movie star as Jennifer Aniston.
Well, so yeah, I think it's just a matter of like catching us up on the characters would have been a lot better than catching us up on the cast.
That's all I care about. That's all
Yeah.
because I don't care about the cast,
Mhm.
honestly. Like I don't wish anything bad for them. Obviously, it's not like I don't care about people. I don't have empathy or anything like that. But I don't care about what they're up to or what they thought about each episode. What I care about is pretending that the Joey show never existed. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of
Sure.
thing I care about.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to give my. So real quick, I did want to say you mentioned that like you were upset that they made Ross so whiny. I will say though, I just watched the episode where he freaked out over like the condom thing. Do you remember this?
I don't know.
Where he's like she tells him they're only effective 97% of the time, and he's like, what? Like this is the first time he learns of it, and he's like, well, they should put that on the box, and she's like, they do, and he's like, what? And he like runs to the other room, and he's like, they should put it in big bold letters. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny.
I mean, like there's funny parts like the turkey sandwich thing and
oh sure. Oh my god, the sandwich thing killed me.
Yeah,
my sandwich. Anytime that he has a meltdown, I love it.
But it's some of it was like just over the top.
Oh sure.
Like even for TV, like when he was trying to get the leather pants on, funny and amazing. When he went to
when he's got when like he was, remember the powder and like the paste and the lotion, and he just.
That's funny.
That's really good.
And when he went to the like he was dating this incredibly beautiful woman, and he went to her house, and it was just trash everywhere. And there was, I mean, like that's really funny. I mean, that's like great stuff, and they just overdid it. I don't know. It's just going to the well too much. I don't know.
All of them making fun of him for dating a student.
See, but that was funny. Yeah,
that was really good. That was really funny. Them doing like. He's like, she's going to camp for a few weeks as a counselor. Like he had to say it before they did.
Oh man, the Tom Selleck episodes were great.
Oh my god, yeah. Like oh my god, when he came back with Monica right before like Chandler and like proposes, I was just like, oh, I hate this so much. Because I just want everything to work out with everybody. Anyway.
Oh my god, Chandler forgot the Valentine's Day, and he put the Valentine's Day tape in, and it was Janice's.
Oh my god!
My funny Valentine.
Dude, when she started she spent 4 days pampering Chandler because she forgot to make him something. And by the way, the whole thing was supposed to be like, we thought this year would be good if we made each other something, and both of them forgot. He found a tape and just said, this will work. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'll make you any dinner you want tonight. And I'm like, you're a chef and you didn't think of that first? Come on, Monica.
No, I'll make anything you want in there, and then
do anything you want in
there. And she goes, yeah, you will. Are you kidding me? Come on. I mean, that's great.
By the way,
great show.
I hated Monica until she started dating Chandler. Like, really? She got way better as a character when her plot lines revolved around their relationship. Because her just anytime that she did anything, I was just like, oh my god, why is she like this? Like, really, I've just learned that the Gellers are just horrible people.
They're not good people. No. So, for me, I only watched the show literally 20 years ago once.
Oh, wow. You remember so much. That's awesome.
So, I mean, but that's what kind of show it was, though.
Sure.
Because it was an event, because afterwards everybody would talk about it. And
that's
we'd laugh about it. For, the next day you'd go to school and then we'd all be talking about it. And
talking about friends.
Did that forever. I mean, that was that became part of,
right.
know. I mean, that's why that show was so big, is because it's cultural.
Yeah, it really is. And by the way, I forgot that, obviously the show primarily takes place in the 90s, but towards the end of seasons, it gets past 2001, and most of the skyline shots, you see the Twin Towers, and I just remember thinking, oh my god, what's going to happen when, they get past that? And I think it was the end of the first episode of season 8, which was like the first episode back in 2001. And it just ends with a black screen that says dedicated to the people of New York City. And they just never showed the skyline like that again. And I'm just like, God, that's so crazy to think like this show lived through all of that stuff. And they just kept going.
Not to get too heavy or anything like that, but, you know, that changed the whole world.
Right.
I mean, that changed everything. That changed, I mean, it made it just harder as a people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so everything that we used to think was fun and everything just became a little bit, it just, I don't know. Again, not to take us in a different direction.
Sure. But that's also like, that also stands to the test of time of the dedication of the cast in the show of Friends, that like, even after that, they can do a black screen, do a really great episode, do a black screen dedicated to the people of New York City, and then just go on with, 3 more seasons of just quality, good comedy content. That's just like, I don't know, if anything, saying like, you know, we can still laugh, you know what I mean? And that was just really great.
Well, at the end of the day, you know, that's what we have to do, or we lose.
Right. Exactly. Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, we have to be able to show people that you can knock us down, but you can't keep us down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, and that's why that's why when people start talking shit on like celebrities and things like that, like, I don't think a celebrity has any more, what's the word, weight to what they say than anybody else.
Sure. They're just another person with a job.
Just another person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they do have a bigger platform.
Sure. To get their words out.
But they're not more, unless they're more educated. Now, there are a lot of times when the guy who, doesn't have a job is screaming an opinion out of his trailer that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Where maybe a person who's been around the world and is educated with traditional education might have a more formed opinion of something. But again, everybody is just people at the end of the day.
Right. Everybody's equal at the end of the day. Doesn't matter what their platform is or whatever. It's, you know.
So, but what they do, apart from who they are as people, what they do as entertainers, I think is like one of the most important things in the. It's like sports to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like sports after 9/11, when we wanted to get back to normal, we wanted to watch Friends on Thursday night.
Right.
We wanted to watch baseball. We wanted to watch football because we wanted life back to normal.
Back to normal. Didn't focus on it.
You know what I mean? Like, oh wow, look at that. I made my point too strong.
I was gonna say.
I lost my ring light. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's an important thing to remember. You know what I mean? It's like, entertainment is important. Distraction is important.
Yeah.
And, art is important.
Absolutely. And Friends definitely achieved, legendary status for many reasons. And
Without question.
And I think just continuing to bring the comedy after all that was just crazy. Because seriously, like watching the show and just seeing all the skyline shots in all of those seasons, it's all the Twin Towers. And you just, every time you see it, you get this little, thing in the back of your head going like, when is that not going to be there anymore for these episodes? You know what I mean?
Well, and if you think about it, man, on a Thursday night in the 90s in the NBC, you had Friends and Seinfeld on the same night.
That's crazy.
I mean, and you're talking about 30 million people a night watching these shows.
Right.
Whereas now 11 million is a huge thing. And that's, I mean, granted, it's a difference in technology.
Sure,
and how
of course. A lot of it's like streaming takes over now. Nobody gets together on one night and watches a show together. That's what I think was so special about the Marvel shows. And Mandalorian was a weekly release date, and you had everybody talking about it the next day, which was like this weird sense of like, hey, TV's back. You know what I mean?
Kinda, yeah. Right. Ironically enough, on
a streaming
streaming.
Yeah. Very, very crazy. Man, we took a crazy turn through all of this.
Yeah.
Friends is very revolutionary, and Tank is not excited for it to come back. The reunion.
I would love for it to come back, by the way.
Like if they did a Friends like like comeback couple of seasons, you'd love that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would watch that.
Okay.
I mean, I would give it a chance. Now, okay, like Roseanne
Are we
came back, and that was
Well, so that's what
garbage.
I'm thinking. I'm like, maybe if they'd actually came back and did like seasons of like Friends coming back, I don't think that would work.
I
However, just a comeback of like, as you said, catching up the characters, I
I
think
just
would be
needed to
great.
catch up. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like have to catch up and make it funny.
right. Which they totally would, and
Yeah,
emotional and awesome, and gave everybody the good vibes, feelings. But
absolutely.
all right, you ready to get angry?
I'm already building up to it. I can feel it.
Snake Eyes, GI Joe,
Ah! Sorry.
Origins, because they wanted us to remember Wolverine Origins, X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, because that worked out so well.
Yeah. So, Tank,
Okay.
big Snake Eyes fan.
I
Let it out.
love Snake Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Snake Eyes is one of the most interesting characters in
Right.
all of hey, we made this action figure, now give it a story to him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Larry Hama, I believe his name is Larry Hama? The guy who they created all these characters for
Right.
action figures. They took it to a comic book writer at Marvel and said, "Hey, can you give all these characters names, backstories, the whole 9 yards?" Snake Eyes has one of the most intriguing ones of all. Later in, I believe it's 2000, they came out with a 6-part comic book, an incredible 6-part comic book explaining the origins of Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes was always kind of a mystery.
Right.
It's kind of like everything was classified on Snake Eyes. And so we found out that Snake Eyes was in Vietnam, right?
Mm.
And he was in a helicopter crash. And while he was saving Scarlet, another G.I. Joe, his face got burnt, his vocal cords got damaged. That's why he doesn't talk. That's why he wears a mask. Great story. He's also a ninja. And, part of his backstory is that he was a white guy as a ninja. A kid grew up in a ninja clan.
Sure.
He was with Storm Shadow, another GI Joe, another intriguing character, by the way. And then the first GI Joe movies, the first two, Storm Shadow is kind of the only thing they did right. Snake Eyes they screwed up because they gave him lips on his mask, which
Weird.
is, by the way, the stupidest thing I've ever. It makes bat nipples look normal. That's how stupid it is.
Hey, bat nipples was a thing way before like Batman and Robin made it like a thing. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, they were in the previous movie before that.
No, they weren't.
Yeah,
Were
they
they?
were. I believe they were. I think the problem with Batman and Robin is they did the gear up scene. And it was literally like, hello, you know what I mean?
Well, they really focused on the nipple and the anus.
Yeah, they definitely focused on. Anyways, so back to Snake Eyes.
So back to Snake Eyes. So, all right, he was a Vietnam vet. Now, in the new movies, the new GI Joe movies are garbage.
Right.
Because I don't know if it's because they have to appeal to broader markets or if it's political correctness. Either way, it's garbage. But G.I. Joe is no longer a real American hero.
Right.
G.I. Joe is now some sort of international task force. And I am not flag waving, grab your gun, woohoo, but G.I. Joe is a real American hero.
Sure. But here's the thing. If Captain America as a concept and a character can work, and if they can say, Superman is the most American thing because he grew up in Kansas, like, I think G.I. Joe can work, as the American team. Like, I don't see a problem in that.
And it's also kind of, like all the gadgets and things like that. Like G.I. Joe is known for having cool vehicles and shit.
Sure.
But like exosuits and things like that that's not anything that ever exists. Right. It's stupid. So this is like they're rebooting the G.I. Joe universe, right? Like I think that's the idea of this new.
Is the plan.
Is the plan. Problem is, it looks exactly the same. It's the same flashy nonsense. Now, they swapped out a white guy for an Asian guy. the lead character. I don't have a problem with this. This
Sure.
is not. I think one of the defining characteristics of Snake Eyes as a character was his battle trying to gain acceptance as a white guy in a Asian ninja clan.
Oh, okay.
Like that was
Sure,
like one
sure,
of the
sure, sure,
things
sure.
that they dealt with.
That's one of his
And
themes in his origins.
right, and it's not appropriation, and it's not whitewashing
Because it's a part of his character.
because it's part of his character. But honestly, I don't care. Like if you want to take that
sure.
out because it feels better, that's fine. No big deal. The guy they picked to play Snake Eyes is the guy from Crazy Rich Asians, right?
Think so. Think so.
He's got a British accent, and he's so soft, softer than Charmin, softer than a Twinkie. You know what I mean? Like this guy is just plain old fashioned. All right, I'm Snake Eyes. Hello, tea and crumpets. Hello, and I'm just it's like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, this is from Crazy Rich Asians.
And it's not like it doesn't look like a badass like bang 'em up kind of. It's more fast and furious kind of quick cut explosion nonsense that we've been getting for so long. I had really hoped this would be the Bumblebee of the G.I. Joe universe.
Sure, yeah, because Bumblebee, God, they're planning so much with Transformers now just because of how well that movie did.
Because that was a really good movie, and it was really faithful to Transformers.
Right.
And it was enjoyable. It's crazy what can happen when you make a movie enjoyable.
I know, crazy.
But I can't get with this, man. And I'm gonna set it out because I watched the G.I. Joe movies. I spent dollars on the G.I. Joe movie, and I will remain silent no longer, and I will not be giving my dollars to this ridiculous nonsense of ruining my favorite childhood properties. I just can't do it.
I understand.
I can't do it.
I apologize that it's not what you want, because, it's annoying when something you love so much like G.I. Joe just can't get a win.
And the thing is like you watch all these people on the comment section, and unfortunately everybody agrees with what I say. Kind of looks like a racist idiot because they're all saying, he's not an Asian, and that's not what I'm saying.
Sure.
Because I don't care about that.
That's not really your problem. Your problem
is
it's
that
not.
It's also, not my biggest problem.
Disregarding everything you've said about just the characterization and what you see in the trailer alone just makes the movie doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good.
If it was just a random dude who was a ninja and it had nothing to do with Snake Eyes, regardless from what I saw in the trailer, it doesn't look good. Their big whoa moment in the trailer, the big whoa, it was a car flipping over.
Right.
And I'm like, that's what we're doing for action these days? Like, in Black Panther's trailer, it was a car flipping over while he was flipping over the car, and then he lands on another car. Like, that is a moment for a trailer, and this was just like, all right.
A car with a flat pulling over to the side of the road.
Right. Like, I was legitimate. Like, I was bored watching that trailer.
I mean, it looks so generic.
Yep.
It's generic I think generic is
the good term for it.
My best word to use for that, because that's the whole thing looks really super generic.
Right.
And I was just heartbroken, man. I was heartbroken because I had such high hopes. I should have known better. But they really broke my heart with it. It's crazy when Fortnite becomes a better storyteller of G.I. Joe than Hollywood.
Yeah, I was like, I think the same day that the trailer came out, I was telling you about like this Fortnite comic that came out with Batman and Snake Eyes and this amazing fight that they had, and then they realized they had this mutual respect for each other, and they started communicating in sign language because in the Fortnite universe you can't talk, and obviously Snake Eyes can't talk anyways, so they're like communicating, and I was just like, this is the bomb.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, what a great story. And
yeah.
I just don't know. I just don't know why they can't get it right. And, honestly, like maybe I'm just old and like missing the point of what they're trying to do. But frankly, man, like if you're going to do a movie like that, at least half of your audience is going for, what's the word? Jesus. Like when you're old and you like, you like stuff.
Nostalgia.
Going for nostalgia. Thank you,
Sure.
Jesus. Half your audience is going for nostalgia, so why would you ruin that?
Not yeah,
I,
give
I
them the
know
nostalgia.
I know there's a lot of people don't really know Snake Eyes origin. They think
Sure,
the
they're
or they think the movie is the
I
first
I
movie.
I promise you the people that will grow up on this movie, like this new Snake Eyes movie, they're going to grow up believing that whatever this movie is doing is the definitive answer, and that's just, it's how
Very
stuff
sad.
goes sometimes, and it's very upsetting. But we gotta run through these real quick. So I just wanted to run through these DC future projects. This is kind of like a little mid topic that I wanted to go through. Kind of get your opinion quickly on each one, and if you're excited for any of them. I'm gonna go from bottom up because I think you're gonna be excited for the top one. League of Super Pets, with The Rock. It's an animated series with The Rock playing Crypto the Superdog, which I was like, wait, The Rock's Black Adam. So you're telling me like in the DCEU, Black Adam's The Rock, and then in the DCAU, Black Adam's Crypto the Superdog?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
I
Make
guess
that money.
for a paycheck.
Also, I didn't realize that dog could talk. So
Yeah, he could talk.
cool.
Well, he could talk to other pets.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you ever watch the Crypto the Superdog TV series?
I did not.
It was really good. They had it was like Sparky was the cat, and then Sparky gets like flash powers later in the show. But then like Crypto is obviously like, the Kryptonian Superdog.
Right, sure.
So he's just Superman, but he's a dog. But his best friend is
How do you feel about that sentence you just
he's
said?
Superman, but he's a dog. But his best friend in the show that he like fights crime with is Ace the Bat Hound, and it's literally like a German Shepherd with a Batman cowl, and he's Batman's dog.
I'm probably pass on that one.
That's so cool. Anyways, speaking of Batman, they announced a new animated series is in the works for HBO Max called Batman Caped
Ooh.
Crusader, featuring
Okay.
Matt Reeves, who's making the Batman with Robert Pattinson,
I'm
and
excited about
J.J.
that movie.
Abrams will be also producing the show, and they described it as a reimagining of the Batman mythos in an animated series.
No.
Could be really cool, could be very upsetting.
Oh no.
There's literally one way or the other with Batman at this point.
Oh no.
Yeah, not into it now after I told you that.
When you said the words reimagining are always.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I've been rewatching the Batman animated series, and I'm just like, this is like peak Batman. Like, this is the best Batman ever will be.
It really is the greatest. Mask of the Phantasm
Oh,
is
such a good movie.
Such a great movie,
Yeah.
and the story and the animation. It doesn't
Yeah.
get it. They did the entire show on black paper to save money.
I
because
did not know that.
It would have cost them more with ink because
That makes sense.
of how dark the city was. But I feel like they nailed Gotham,
Dude.
and Batman, by the way. And my favorite
So
Batman, the
great.
voice of Batman, was not Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy.
Is it Kevin Conroy? Yeah, just a perfect Batman.
Did
voice.
you know I've met him?
No way.
I met him at a convention, and I was geeking out. I was like, oh my God, it's Kevin Conroy. And like, he shook my hand. He was he was a super nice guy. And then I just chatted him with a little bit about like how he liked being Batman and all these things. And at that time, I really only knew him from the Arkham games. I think at that point, Arkham City had come out, but not Arkham Knight. And the first thing I had to ask was like, so is it really fun working with Mark Hamill, like, as the Joker? And then he just goes, Mark Hamill is the nicest human being ever, and me and him have so much fun when we're in the recording booth together. And I'm just like, it's so cool. I'm talking to Batman.
Who caught you when you fainted?
Martin, I think he was there with me.
I don't believe Martin could catch a human being.
No, yeah, I would fall over, and then he would fall over, and he would break my fall.
Everybody's going down on that one.
But yeah, Kevin Conroy, super awesome guy. He was just the best to talk to. So that animated series is happening. I'm a little iffy on it. This one I think is really interesting. My Adventures with Superman, and it's a show focusing on. It is Superman, but it's also focusing on Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen
out
all together. No. It's like it's. Well, who knows? Maybe this will make you more in, or it'll keep you further out. Jack Quaid, the main character from The Boys is voicing Superman.
Oh, I like that guy.
He's a cool guy.
The reason I hated Iron Fist is because I never got to hang out with the Iron Fist.
Well, yeah, I honestly, from what I'm hearing, and even the art that they showed off, the art style looks great, but the picture was literally like Lois with her arm wrapped around Superman, and he's like pulled in close and like blushing, and then she's like pointing off, like super excited to go chase a story, and Jimmy Olsen's behind them with his camera ready to go, and I'm just like, okay, so
out,
yeah.
out.
That was loud enough. All right, Green Lantern TV series. I believe it's live action on HBO Max.
That sounds interesting.
From the casting that they keep doing, I swear, every casting that they do, it's like, and they're looking at this character to play this Lantern, and they're literally like talking about almost every Lantern. I've seen a casting for almost every single one except like Jon Stewart, which is very upsetting because I'm like, dude, Jon Stewart's the best Green Lantern. But I'm just like, if it's a series about all of the Lanterns that we've seen in the comics and stuff, that's kind of exciting. You know what I mean?
I'm into that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. As look, you can say whatever you want about the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie, but it exposed me to something that I didn't really know before, that the Green Lanterns were an entire space force.
Yeah.
Of basically space cops.
They're space cops. Yeah.
And I love that. And I love that idea. So this idea as a series, I think it's got legs. I'm in.
I'm super interested. There's going to be a live action Batgirl movie in the works for HBO Max, and I guess Joss Whedon was working on that stuff, and then after everything with Justice League, I think they were like, hey, Joss Whedon's kind of a piece of shit, so let's not give him Batgirl.
Bro.
I'm just saying, they're like, hey, let's not give him Batgirl to do, and now they got other people working on it, so that's kind of exciting, because Batgirl, the more that I've gotten into the Batman mythos recently, I really am just like, Batgirl's a very interesting character, and I think she could lead a movie that, like, almost ends with her ending up as Oracle, like, leading into the Killing Joke, so I think that would be an interesting plot, especially because the animated movie of Killing Joke was just garbage, so...
It was garbage, and it was unnecessarily gruesome, I thought.
Well, I mean, like, it is gruesome, but, like, I think they just focused a little too heavily on Barbara when, like, she's just supposed to be, like, the upsetting ending, but it's supposed to be focused on James Gordon. Gordon?
Is Barbara Gordon, is she going to be Batgirl in the movie?
I believe so, yeah. So,
like, who's Bat? See, I can never get behind Batwoman because...
Batwoman is a completely different thing. She was never really part of the Bat family. So, like...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, all of a sudden, Bruce Wayne's got cousins.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne's got cousins. He's got an aunt and an uncle, but his butler raised him. You know what I mean? Like, that, I feel like that throws a...
I agree.
That throws a spanner in the whole works. So I can't get with that. But I would definitely be interested in a Barbara Gordon-led DC, like, detective,
Sure.
You know, I think that would be fun to watch.
Absolutely. And then I think the one that you're probably the most excited for on this list is the next DC animated film they announced is going to be Injustice, based off of the fighting game and the comic books that came from the fighting game.
That's kind of exciting because, DC 95% of the time does incredible animated movies.
Yeah, so. They just released Justice League World War II. And I'm very interested in watching it. I haven't checked it out yet, but just seeing, like, it's literally World War II, and, like, Barry Allen goes back in time, and he's fighting alongside, like, Jay Garrick and Wonder Woman and stuff, and I'm like, that's really cool.
It's super cool.
So, animated movies kind of know what they're doing most of the time. So I'm excited to see what they do for Injustice, because it's a very interesting plot point. I always hate Superman, like I love Superman, but it almost seems like every time they have to do like a twist on a story, it's always like, but this Superman is evil, and I kind of always hated that about Injustice, because I'm like, cool, another story where Superman is evil.
I really like the juxtaposition of Superman and Batman, because the way Batman looks at Superman, like, he loves him and he trusts him, but he also has a backup plan just in case.
Sure. And that's also, like, Batman is just a more trusting Lex Luthor.
No.
In his relation to Superman.
No, what he is he's a less evil Lex Luthor, because they are really, really similar,
Yeah, they
honestly.
are. They are very similar people. That like
I never thought of that.
it's their ingenuity as a human being that
Yeah.
that prevails them. Lex Luthor sees Superman as a challenge, where Batman sees Superman as an opportunity that could go one of two ways, but he's
Yeah.
prepared either scenario. Like I've always been very much on the side of like Superman could easily beat Batman, but in comic after comic after comic, it's normally Batman beats Superman, and in stories it's Batman beats Superman, and in movies it's Batman beats Superman. And I always was against that, and the more that I've learned about Batman, I am very much on the side now where it's like if it was like them like if Batman has time to prep like he does in all these stories, absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's just, you know, mano a mano, of course, like that's no question.
There was this really, really, this is off topic, but there was this incredible short that somebody did on YouTube, Batman versus Darth Vader.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I've seen
and
that.
and it was really well done for
Right.
some for like, I don't know what kind of, I don't know who did it or why they did it or whatever, but it was like super well done and it was a really good thing. In the end, spoiler alert, Darth Vader wins.
Mm,
He just force snaps Batman's neck, which I don't know why he
right.
didn't do that like
But
when the
also
fight
like
started.
so normally with force choke, it's not so easy just to or at least not
Yeah.
that we've seen that it's so easy to they normally have to let them float up a bit and then choke them out and stuff. And that always would give Batman enough time to get out of it.
I mean, he's got gadgets and he's got
Exactly,
plans.
exactly. So I don't know. I don't know who would win that fight. Personally, in my opinion, I don't know who would win that fight. I might make that a video on TikTok and just ask people to answer for me.
I mean, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
So I'm into this, man. I love the video games, so I think the story's ripe to be told.
totally. I'm excited to see what they do with it. All right, recommendations. Let's do it real quick. I know you got a good
All
one for me.
all right, so since I'm about to take a steaming dump on Mortal Kombat, I want to
Oh
offer
no.
you an opportunity to have a alternative movie that honors kung fu instead of making it look ridiculous. The movie's called Paper Tigers, and this is a new movie. It's from this year. The guy who made it, he's been trying to get it made for 10 years. The big studios, they wanted Bruce Willis involved for $4 million, and he's like, "Nah, man, I'm good." And so they
Mm.
wouldn't greenlight him any money. So he went ahead and got it financed himself, and it's about three students of this incredible kung fu teacher, and you know, 30 years after their prime, they stop talking to their
Ah.
teacher, and the main guy becomes like just a regular guy. He's struggling. He's trying to be a dad and stuff, but he's not doing a great job of it because he's trying to work all the time. But somebody kills their shifu, which is their teacher,
Right.
and they get back together to try to figure out who did it
Oh, that
and
sounds cool.
avenge him. And dude, it is so 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 good.
I think I like the idea of like kung fu students coming back and like after like being out of their prime into it and like relearning. And as you say, it
Yes.
honors kung fu. So that already interests me as people like getting back into the form and everything must be really
Right.
cool.
And this is Asian American Pacific Islander celebration month.
Right. That's right.
So like this movie really, I think, is like one of the best ones to do that, um because it's like, I feel like it's really faithful to the culture and not
That's great.
it doesn't like make it a mockery or anything like that.
Doesn't
But
make Bruce Willis
there
be in it.
yes, and there is so many like really really funny parts in it as well.
Literally, I looked
um
at the poster and the first thing that I saw in like quotes from like a reviewer was filled with laughs. And I'm like, oh, didn't.
no, dude, it had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's awesome.
I rented it because when I was gone, I went back home, so I
Sure.
rented it and watched it on the plane. And I don't want to give too much away, but there's a part where the main guy, he's going to have a fight.
Hmm.
It's called Bamo. It's like this honor fight. It's like crazy.
Sure.
There's so much crazy cool stuff in this movie. But the guy calls his son because he doesn't know if this is the last time he's going to talk to him.
Mm.
Because I'm gonna cry thinking about it because it was just,
No, no, no.
dude, it was like it was incredible. It was so like it
Oh,
was like
cool.
you talk about a movie that just catches you by surprise. Because I thought it was just gonna be funny, but I like Kung Fu Hustle kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
sure.
it wasn't like that. It was like that though. It wasn't, and it was because it had very serious notes. It had real life in it. It had great kung fu, great fighting, great choreography, um, father son themes. I mean,
Mm,
there's a million things going on in this movie, and it's I couldn't recommend it enough. I rented it. I don't know how long it's going to be until it's on. You could get it for free on like
some streaming
a
platform.
service or
Sure.
something like that. But I got it on iTunes, so
Mm-hmm.
spend the $7, man, because it's absolutely one thousand
I'll
percent worth
I'll have to check it out. Well, I had a different recommendation that I'll just save for next week because I think this would make a good double feature if you
it.
did
Oh,
Paper Tigers and this recommendation. I thought of it when you said you watched Paper Tigers on a plane. I was like, man, what was the last movie I watched on a plane? And then I realized, oh, this movie also is filled with laughs, and it's also got great action sequences. It doesn't have a father-son dynamic, but it's got some heartfelt moments sprinkled in there, but it's primarily a comedy. And that movie is called Tag. Have you seen Tag?
I love that
How
movie.
good was
It was
Tag?
so much better than I thought it was going to be.
Exactly. So it just shocked me how great it was. So it's Jeremy Renner, John Hamm,
Uh-huh.
uh
Hannibal Buress.
Hannibal Buress.
Hannibal Buress
He's
is
so
goddamn
good in that
national
movie.
treasure.
He really is, like he's great in that movie. All right.
He's such a good comic.
Ed Helms, Jake Johnson.
Oh, it's Nick from New Girl.
Yeah, that is Nick from New Girl. Wait, am I wrong here? I'm like looking at the cast. Is it Hannibal Buress? It is Hannibal Buress. Okay,
Yeah,
good. I was scrolling through the thing. That's so weird. I think they've got his name differently on IMDb. That's so weird. But yeah, so that's the cast. Really fun, based on a true story, which
yeah.
they kept putting in the trailer, and I'm like, this must be a joke. This isn't actually. It is based on a true story.
Well, based on the fact that there's a group of friends that play tag.
Well, yeah, of course. It's not like
sure.
sure. It wasn't exactly, but like the whole premise of these guys who have been playing tag since they were kids and now they're all in like their mid 30s still playing tag. It's like it's a really fun movie, and let me just tell you, there is a scene where coffee gets splashed in somebody's face during a fight scene, and it's probably the hardest that I laughed at in that movie. where Jeremy Renner, almost like Sherlock Holmes, is like planning the attack, and it's all in slow motion and stuff. And he splashes the coffee into like Jake Johnson's face, and I think Jake Johnson says something like, "Who drinks hazelnut coffee?" As he's like getting splashed with it.
Oh,
It's so good.
So funny.
Yeah.
You talk about a movie that catches you by surprise, and you don't go into it think you're gonna cry, but you cry really hard.
Yeah, like, all right, it was a really really good movie, and I definitely recommend people watch that. What a good like that. So when I heard you talking about Paper Tigers, I was like, this is reminding me a lot of Tag.
Yeah, that's actually that would be a really good night to like,
Double
double
feature,
up on
yo. Double feature, yo. All right, let's talk about some other fighting movies. So we're going to talk about Mortal Kombat. We are getting into spoilers. It's been out for a while. As you can tell, Tank did not like it. So, Tank, what didn't you like about this movie?
First of all, everybody in the movie's ugly.
Except Kano.
No, dude, he is small. He's too small, first of all. Get that
Kano.
man some steroids. Like I know that everybody loved him in this movie, and he was probably the most entertaining part of the movie.
Right.
I get that, but at the same time, first of all, Liu Kang looks like he's about 12.
Dude, Liu Kang, for one thing, I didn't know he was in the movie. For another thing, like, there was a part where I was just like, man, he does not look how I imagine Liu Kang would look. But then, there's a scene where he's, like, got his shirt off and they're, like, prepping for the fight. And I was like, well, he's ripped. So, I mean, at least that's good.
he's also a straw weight. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
I mean, who was the guy? Who was Liu Kang in the original movie?
I
That's Liu
cannot
Kang.
remember.
That's Liu Kang. You know what I mean?
Sure.
At least that guy was thick. So this felt like such a B movie the entire time. A B movie that's an F. You know what I'm saying? Like, gory unnecessarily,
Hey, unnecessarily. Come on, it's Mortal Kombat.
and who in the name of a monkey's ball sack is the main character? Like that guy doesn't exist in the game.
He doesn't exist in the game.
Like
He's
why?
he's created for the movie.
There's literally like 60 characters. You can't make one of those people the lead character. I mean, you could have made Jax the lead character.
Cole Young.
If you didn't want to do Liu Kang, which okay, fine.
Let's be honest. I think Sonya Blade would have been the best as the main character.
Agree.
Because she has a more worthy looking plot in that movie than anybody just wanting to be a part of the tournament.
Plus, she's the only person in that whole movie who's been in another movie. So, I mean, honestly, plus the karate sequences were too cut. You know what I mean? There's too many cuts.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit on the ice fights and.
Dude, I'll tell you, the opening fight and the ending fight were the best parts of the movie.
I thought very strong lead in with the Sub-Zero Scorpion.
Yes. Literally the best part of the movie.
Kicking off, and I thought, oh wow, this is going to be great. But guess what? Not a single tournament.
That was the other thing that was so infuriating. All right, that's probably my biggest complaint about the movie. They keep leading up to Mortal Kombat, the tournament, but they never do the tournament because the other team's cheating by trying to kill everybody before the tournament. And I'm just like, just wait for the... you know you're going to win. Just wait for the tournament.
We never got to one single tournament contest.
I know. Just like,
what is this bullshit?
And they go to all these different places that are straight up like towards the end of the movie, you know, they like they're fighting on the bridge with all the spikes below them. I'm like, oh, cool, like a map from the game. That's so awesome.
But then everything else is like Cleveland, Ohio.
Exactly. Like, the best parts of this movie, if I'm being honest, were any times that they just celebrated the fact that they were from a video game. You have no idea how much I was laughing and cheering when Kung Lao, by the way, Kung Lao is one of the best parts of this movie. When Kung Lao defeats Viper? Who does he defeat? No, not Viper. He defeats somebody else. The flying lady. Whoever.
Dragon Tits.
When he defeats her.
Dragon Tits.
And he does his horribly gory fatality, which, by the way, you can't say it's gory, like, unnecessarily. When No,
that was fine. It was fine. Like, it felt like that was, like, trying to make up for everything else that it was lacking.
Sure, but
it's like
it's
like when your dad. It's like when your dad's never there and he shows up with a double cheeseburger and a slice of cake. Like, you know, that's not nourishing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how this whole movie felt. And I disagree with you with Kung Lao. I thought he was garbage.
You didn't think Kung Lao? I'm just saying
why couldn't they couldn't find a single actor who was good for this entire movie?
I'm not saying his performance. I'm saying any time that he literally showed up, like him doing the freaking spin with the hat and stuff, like out of the ground, like I was like, God, this is so cool. But him defeating that lady, looking to the side and going, flawless victory. I was like, it's cheesy as shit, but god damn it, I love it because it's them celebrating the game aspect of it. That was the stuff I cared about, was when they celebrated the fact that it was Mortal Kombat, the video game, and not this. Like, you know what I would have loved is when they fight Goro. And it's Cole Young, our main character that we're supposed to care about. Again, who we don't really like, who should not be in this movie. Have Goro rip it in half, like how we like saw the little tease on the wall when they were walking through the temple. If our main character died right towards the end fight, and then it was up to the people that we actually knew from the video game, I think that would have been kind of cool.
I would be interested to see what other people have thought about this movie, because
most people hate it.
I was physically angry when it was over. I flipped my couch over because I looked forward to this movie for so long, because they, you know, when they did the first movie, the very first movie, not this Annihilation, was absolutely terrible. But the first movie, at least it captured the spirit of what the game was.
Sure.
It wasn't R-rated, so it didn't get to be as gory. But the The fighting was better. The characters were at least established actors who could carry a scene, not a
Right.
bunch of high school, stage production dropouts. And
Can we talk about the fact that Kano gets his powers from wanting an egg roll?
can we not talk about that? Because this is
He
the kind of,
received his arcana.
and also the idea that your powers are somehow deep inside of you and you have to figure out like it's an animal spirit. Like, what in the blue hell are you talking about?
It was really weird watching Jax like his like crappy robot arms. Like,
dude, he had those steampunk
I
garbage
know
arms. Ugh.
they're like just practice, and it's him like trying to punch a punching bag, and he's like, ugh, ugh. And it's just like, oh god, he's supposed to have like giant metal arms. When are those gonna show up?
But then he found the will inside of himself, and somehow those arms grew.
And then he became a transformer.
It's like this is like the Grinch meets RoboCop. Like, what the heck is going on here? Oh my god, I hated it so much, and it was so stupid. I mean, it was just so stupid.
I was just cheering literally only at moments that like celebrated the video game. Like when Liu Kang showed up, I was like, I swear to God, if he doesn't do the bicycle kick in this movie, I'm gonna be pissed. And when he did the bicycle kick, I was like, all right, there we go. That's at least 1 point for the movie.
At least something.
Yeah.
And this movie, sorry, really missed the presence of Johnny Cage. I mean, I feel like
People are saying if they do a sequel, which I'm sure you'd be against, but if they did a sequel and they made it more, almost campier and
more or less terrible,
they should get Johnny Cage and he should be played by Ryan Reynolds.
There is not a chance in hell you get Ryan Reynolds for this garbage.
Probably not, but I'm just saying.
Look,
wouldn't Ryan Reynolds be the perfect Johnny Cage?
Yeah, he would be phenomenal as Johnny Cage.
He would be so perfect.
But he would have to rewrite the entire script because they would make it bad. Because that's what I believe the name of the studio was Bad Movie Studios. Because it was awful. Raiden was terrible.
Bad Movie Studios.
I don't know, like, I know you want Raiden to not be a white guy anymore, which makes sense.
Sure.
So, like,
that's fine.
Where's Ken Watanabe? You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't, like, I mean, there's a billion unbelievably great Asian actors that you could get to play this guy, and instead you got a guy that couldn't act like he was a human being. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, it's kind of strange how the best actor in that movie was the guy who played Scorpion. I've seen that guy in so many movies. I forget his name.
Yeah, that guy.
He's
he was
really
in,
good.
Last Samurai. He was in Last Samurai.
Yes. He's a really great actor, and every time I see him in anything, I'm always like, God, he's so good. I need to see him in more movies. And he played Scorpion, and my God, why couldn't Scorpion be in the movie more?
We needed more of that, absolutely.
For real.
And that guy, like in Last Samurai, he was a total badass in Last Samurai.
He also shows up, I believe, in Westworld season 2, and he's the reason why that season is like bearable, is when he's in that season. And what else? He also had an appearance in Avengers Endgame. He was the dude fighting Ronin. Yeah, he was fighting Hawkeye.
He's like, you're a criminal. He's like, yeah, you're about to murder me. So what does that make you?
Dude, like, he just needs to be in more things because he's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, but unfortunately, they put him in a mask and hit him away most of the movie.
Yeah, you know he's in the beginning, the best part of the movie, and then he's at the end, the second best part of the movie.
I like the idea of Scorpion being the good guy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm into that because I know actually in the video games he's kind of one of the bad guys.
Well, he's like an anti-hero, I think. Like, his story is always him coming back from hell.
But because in the original movie, Sub-Zero was like Scorpion was hunting the humans, the mortals. And Sub-Zero was hunting Scorpion. And I don't know if you remember this, but not Plummer.
Oh my God, Christopher Plummer in Mortal Kombat.
Might as well. Christopher Plummer would have made this movie better, and that guy's dead.
Fatality.
Christopher, what? Yeah.
There you
Sorry.
Man, that really got you, didn't it?
The doctor's like, fatality.
Shut up. Shut up.
And whoever played Raiden.
Yeah, sure.
So he left a bucket of water there so that for Sub-Zero to turn it into an ice dagger thing. Anyway, so it kind of flip-flopped who was good guy, bad guy, but I liked it in this scenario for sure. And the beginning was great.
Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert is his name.
Yeah.
Highlander.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I wish that I'm sorry that I missed a couple of episodes, guys, but maybe I could have saved you from watching this garbage movie.
It's okay. It's going off HBO Max in a few days.
Yeah, to hell where it belongs.
Back with Scorpion.
Stay over there.
Get over here and stay. Yeah, I watched it, wasn't expecting much, had a great time. The more I thought about it, I was like, that wasn't that good, was it?
How did you have a great time?
Like I said, I was just enjoying like the stupidness of certain scenes.
You didn't think, who the hell is this guy and who is this little girl?
Here's the thing. No.
Care about
that? For the new character, I was aware that the movie was focusing around like some new guy. So like I already went in expecting that.
I didn't know that. So maybe if I had known that, I would have been more prepared and less angry.
Sure. Like I was prepared that it wasn't gonna be off the bat. Like even from the trailers, like from watching the trailers, I didn't remember Liu Kang being in any of the trailers. So when he just showed up in the movie, I got giddy. Sure, he's not what I would have liked Liu Kang to look like on terms of like size, but honestly, when it was just like I saw him on the hill, he's doing the fireball thing, and I literally went, "Is that Liu Kang?" And then he's like, "Hello, my name is Liu Kang," and I was like, "Liu Kang's in this movie?" So that stuff kept me going to enjoy it, but overall I was like, I went back.
I feel like Liu Kang should be the main character. And
I agree. Regardless, I feel like Liu Kang always needs to be the main character.
I just feel like that. I don't know.
Definitely not Kano.
No.
All right, well, I think that's relative.
You know would be a badass Kano?
Who could be a badass Kano?
Chris Hemsworth would be a badass Kano.
Yeah, he'd be good. He'd be a good Kano. Now I'm trying to think of like other fan castings.
Okay, what do you got?
I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
Michael B. Jordan as Jax.
I was just about to say like Michael B. Jordan as Jax would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, I would rather have John David Washington as Jax.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But he's too busy playing Jon Stewart in my dreams. When will they cast? When will they get a? All right, whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I love. You know what's funny is the guy who played Isaiah in Winter Soldier. I'm sorry,
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
He also played Martian Manhunter in the DCAU.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I think when I looked at his listing, I think I saw him listed under that for voices. When will they give us Jon Stewart? Whatever, we need.
When will they give us Jon Stewart?
Let's take us. Did your camera move? Whatever. We need to get out of here. Thank you all so much for watching and listening to this episode of No Talking During the Movies. We'll be back next week to talk about other crap. Tank, how are you feeling?
I feel like I've gotten a lot off my chest.
Well, that's good. It's been a long day, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, once again, I am your host, Stephen Austin.
I'm your co-host, Tank.
And we will talk to you guys next time for No Talking During the Movies. Bye-bye.